Hello everyone, my name is Hyper1, and welcome back to another video where I cast your StarCraft 2 replays. This replay was sent into me by a user on my Discord server. It is a platinum level game on Glittering Ashes Ladder Edition. I'm sorry. If you want me to cast your replay, please read the video description. Today we have a special guest joining us, who will be Mose. Say hi, Mose.
What's up, everyone? I am Mose, the GM Protoss of about 5'4" MMR, and I'm here today because I had nothing better to do and your replays seem entertaining. And meanwhile, we have, or more importantly rather, we have in the bottom left, the person who sent in the replay from the Hyper One clan, youeverheard, which is obviously a prequel memer, according to what he said in the chat earlier. And in the top right, we have the blue Terran, his opponent. He is FlashBack.
Now, based on the chat log, I'm hitting the enter key here, and it looks like FlashBack does not know the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise, which is really unfortunate.
It's a sad story after all, not everyone wants to know it.
Looks like, okay, I was gonna say, where's our pool from You Ever Heard, but it looks like the pool will be finished, or I'm sorry, thrown down just now. Ooh, and looks like Flashback is gonna be putting down a double depot on the wall.
Which he might not know it yet, but actually counters what youeverheard is doing here. Because this is not a standard hatch gas pool, because he pulled straight into the gas, and he put the pool down actually quite late. But as a result, he will either get link speed immediately, or just go into roaches.
He's getting very close to 100 gas right now, so there's a good chance this might be an aggressive pool, because he can just, like, okay, he's not pulling off gas, but he does have 100 gas now, so link speed, yes. Drone scout coming in here, not gonna get anything done.
Could also indicate a Bane bust, but since there's no Bane nest going down yet, I kind of doubt it, especially as the link speeds just started up. Terran is going for an expand, getting his tech at a normal time, so overall, the Terran's build order looks quite solid so far.
Looks like, getting ready to take the third hatchery over here. Yep, have to go down. Speaking of expansions, Flashback over here with the natural CC just finished up on the high ground. Money to turn it into an orbital, but not gonna do it just yet. It looks a little bit more preoccupied with something else right now. There we go, lifting it off.
Not sure what Flashback tried to scan there, but I think he got to see the ramp from the main to the net. So.
Based on his, I'm holding V on his vision right now, and all he scanned was he scanned the main. He scanned that there is indeed a hatchery there. Big surprise to no one. He did not scan the pool, so he will not know if link speed is done or not. But he's about to find out. God, Bunker's about to finish up, but these links just a little bit too slow to deny it.
Flashback is going for the fusion core for those battle cruisers. Just needs to switch over the starport with the factory, but unfortunately you have to lift his natural as well.
Bunker gonna be salvaged, and right now income not looking too hot for Flashback.
So youeverheard started off with a wonky build order which didn't seem too solid, but getting the Flashback to lift his natural, with him also going for battle cruisers, I think youeverheard has himself in a solid position in the game for now.
First battle cruiser just started up, 4:30, or it's 4:30 right now, and the battle cruiser should be done by 5:30. Not a whole lot of, let's see, how many queens? We got units tab, 4 queens at right now, and 9 zerglings. Of course, the 9 zerglings not really doing anything on the front. 6 marines and a hellion, more than enough to hold that off.
Zerg is going for a Baneling Nest and double Evo and the Roach Warren now. But I would really like to just see him send in the Overlord or just anything to see what's going on inside the Terran base. Because right now, with about 21 links, he's not really safe from any kind of push. Which wouldn't even be an issue as Zerg, but the real issue is that he doesn't know what's coming.
So like Flashback, just scan the natural. He will confirm that there's an Evo chamber. Unfortunately, not really seeing the Baneling nest or the Roach Warren. Not that it really matters at this point because neither of those are things that shoot up. Lair is done, so I mean we do have access to lair tech, but no immediate answers to the battlecruiser that just popped out and is now flying, not jumping across the map.
Personally, I do like the flying the battlecruiser over way more, since you can just jump it back whenever it gets hurt. This way you have way more chance of getting damage and also not losing the battlecruiser, which is way more cost efficient than jumping in and having it die.
I think I agree with that. Definitely in a situation where, I mean, in a situation where you expect your opponent to have the answer to battlecruisers already, like out, then flying in your battlecruiser and jumping it out is definitely much safer and gives you more chances of guaranteed damage than jumping it in does. But I don't think that youeverheard will. Yeah, okay, battlecruiser's hitting right now, and we don't have a Spire or a Hydra Den. We don't even have that many queens out. We still only have 5 queens.
2 drones going down so far. Queen will likely follow. Gets transfused, still falls in the end. Battlecruiser still on a good amount of health, looking to go back over the dead zone so it will be safe for the foreseeing future.
Okay. I would really like to see a fourth. I mean, both sides floating a lot of money, obviously. I'd really like to see another base out of both of them. Second battlecruiser will be coming on the way. And, okay.
Fire did go down for the Zerg, which is obviously the best response. And those corruptors will easily shred through low numbers of battlecruisers.
This Overlord over at the natural pillar was not actually on the pillar. Sort of not the best placement. It's gonna have to. Okay, the battlecruiser is gonna see it, and it's gonna kill it. Youeverheard with a lot of extra overseers. They're all here though. Gosh, imagine just killing all.
I'd really like to see the Zerg make some more drones at least. Because right now, with this amount of drones, he will not have the economy to fully support full corruptor production and have something to kill the base as well.
I don't know why we're making more Zerglings. We haven't confirmed much of a ground threat from the opponent yet. Oh, and I just noticed that this natural base is a planetary. Oh
That
my
is
gosh.
something.
It's a planetary, and there's a bunker next to it. So for whatever reason, Flashback is extremely scared of dying on 2 bases.
Unfortunately, no new basis for him going down despite floating the 1400 minerals.
I mean, you got
If those are invested into CCs, he would have himself a great position in this game.
Oh, speaking of CCs, third CC going down at the triangular 3rd location. And okay, just Morling Bane. So I think, I mean, youeverheard has seen the Marine, so I think he just assumes that this is going to be some kind of bio BC play. So I mean, I don't dislike the Ling Bane response. I just think that this is way too early to be getting this much Ling Bane.
Meanwhile, the Terran is going for the entire tech tree, getting Blue Flame Hellion now, and looking to go into Stim or Combat Shield as well with the Tech Lab on the barracks. Getting both upgrades for Mech and Bio at the same time.
Tell me, Mose, what do you think of this? Obviously, with 3 BCs out and only 6 Corruptors, it's probably safe to say that Flashback would have map control if he would actually send the BCs out. Would that be a fair statement to make?
Yes, but that would only be if the Terran actually uses the battle cruisers, because right now they've just been idle on his side of the map.
Oh my gosh, Widowmine hits on the 3rd.
But unfortunately, the Zerg is not really making use of this, that the Terran is just sitting back. He's only going for his 4th now, well, he could even have a 5th or even a 6th.
Okay.
There would be no issue in taking those.
six corruptors versus 4 BCs and a Thor. Yeah, there's nothing you can do. I would have said that You Ever Heard should have gotten some more Overlord vision out on the map, but I'm not sure with
Just one Ling to every expansion Terran can
or
take, and you're fine.
even just Lings, because like look at all these Lings not being put to good use at all right now. I mean, that was an attack, and that did clean up a third base that didn't really have much on it to begin with, but hey.
More corruptors are popping now. Looks like he will have a sufficient amount of corruptors to actually take care of the BCs now. But the Terran is still making them behind this, and I think he did a research the Yamato upgrade as well. So maybe 3-4 more corruptors, and then something to take care of the Thors, just maybe even the bio that's being produced right now, and he would have a solid fight and could probably even win the game.
Did you say he did or did not research Yamato? It looks to me like he did.
He did.
Alright. Also, +1 ship weapons finished up a long time ago. I just forgot to mention that. For the Zerg, it's looking like 2-2 melee and ground carapace, as well as +1 air armor. Which against the BCs, I guess I like the air armor upgrade more right now.
Yeah, especially since they already have such a good base armor, so adding on even more armor would make them very hard to kill, even with corruptors.
Fun fact, the BCs actually do 3 more damage per hit to ground targets than air targets, which is part of the reason why corruptors are like really good against them. BC's not amazing against other air targets. They have decent damage, but hardly the best. Okay. Drone count only at 65 for You Ever Heard. I don't understand why we're making so many paniclings. I mean, actually, these aren't even really paniclings. These are just lings that are drones. Oh my god, 50 more lings.
I mean, maybe if the lings were all turned into banelings and just run them into the planetaries, they would actually be put to good use. But other than that, I don't see any purpose for them in this case. I would rather see something that can actually shoot up against the BCs, or something that can take care of Thors and a lot of Marines, which the Zerglings pretty much won't do. At least not cost effectively.
Alright, looks like we're moving in here. Oh my god, that mine. Okay, not as big of a connection as I thought.
A lot of turrets for the Terran, dealing a lot of damage to the Corruptors. Meanwhile, the Lings are actually being put to good use. Planetary being repaired. BC's almost going down, jumping across the map, and the Lings somehow did kill the Planetary.
Okay, there's
But
nothing.
Meanwhile, the other side of the map, the BC's wreaking havoc as there's no anti-air at home. Corruptors are flying home, will have an amazing fight, but not before Zerg has lost way too much to these BCs.
I surprisingly not supply blocked, but yeah. You know what's really interesting that you see from people who use BCs at this level is at the first sign of danger, instead of jumping them to somewhere safe. I mean, I guess in this case there really isn't anywhere safe for these BCs to jump other than maybe the bunker. But usually they will not choose to jump to safety to repair. Instead, they will jump the BCs offensively and then trade them out, which I don't really understand the rationale for that. There is a window to do damage that your opponent's army is not home to defend them, but it also feels like you're just throwing them away. I don't know.
Yeah, it was definitely not the right call here, as they just got cleaned up with maybe taking down 400 or 500 minerals worth of units with them, but that is not going to return what you paid for the BCs originally.
It's like units lost tab, resources lost is a little bit less efficient on the side of the Terran, which is a bit unusual to see this game. But it also I guess Flashback has just sort of been giving out bases for free, whereas You Ever Heard has managed to keep his bases.
And that's where the supply difference also comes in. Flashback has not been expanding or making workers as consistently as the Zerg. So because of this, he also has mined way less and cannot afford to go back to a high supply like the Zerg can.
Alright.
especially when he's trading even worse than the Zerg should be.
Looks like it's gonna be a linear third base. We're building a CC on site. I don't think that's gonna go up. Oh, come on, run it. Okay, there we go. Base is gonna go down. Is Flashback gonna respond to this?
Split off some of the links, but keeps F2ing them and sending them back.
Oh my gosh.
That is some classic Zerg micro right there. We all know they only use F2. Meanwhile, Banelings running into the bunker. Would have liked to see them run into the planetary first, as that is gonna do way more damage to your Ling numbers. But overall, second base cleared up. Third base not even cancelled, I think. And this just leaves Flashback on 19 workers, most of them doing nothing, and only 6 patches, or well, 3 patches to mine from.
It's like a BC. What is this doing? Okay. There are actually a lot of queens to deal with this. Wow. What the heck?
And the queens will deal with it just fine.
Why would you jump there? What is this? What is this?
That is one way to use the BC.
You tickled a drone and then you immediately switched targets to the Spore Crawler, didn't one-shot it, and then it just died. Alright.
Flashback looks devastated at all the damage that has been dealt to him. Starting to micro a Raven he made for some reason, which is just dealing damage to a beam, but it's going to get cleaned up by the Corruptors. Would have liked to see some more CCs to maybe get back into it, but I think deep down he also knows that this game is beyond repair.
I think Flashback, maybe you meant to use Hunter or Seeker, Hunter Seeker missile, is that what it's called? That doesn't exist anymore, so all the Corruptors are just going to be Cheeto dusted for a little while, but no damage done.
2 Hellions going across the map now, probably a last-ditch effort to see what the Zerg has before he inevitably taps out of this game. Finds a lot of Lings, has all the Corruptors on his mini-map, and loses them.
Looks like 8 Broodlords are on the way, so we're finally gonna kill the Terran. And by that I mean we're not gonna kill the Terran because he just taps out.
Terran had been killed in the last push, pretty much.
Alright, so what were your impressions? Let's take a look at our units lost tab. 255 Zerglings went down that game, but still a little bit more efficient for the Zerg. Just because Flashback was just bleeding units the entire game. But
and way more expensive units at that.
Yep. Gonna be about 14,300 resources for youeverheard and 15,800 resources for Flashback. BC strategy was sort of interesting. Whenever you open up a replay and the Terran opens up second supply depot to fully wall, and then they build the second CC on the high ground, float it down without turning it into an orbital first, and then they make a planetary and a bunker on the low ground. You know that they're super scared of just dying to something. Like, these are the kinds of players on ladder who are just traumatized by 2 base all-ins, and they will do whatever it takes to not die to those. But ultimately, if you play like that, I mean, Mose, you saw what happened in this game. He just didn't expand, didn't have money, and then he lost, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
especially since BCs are not very good units at all until the late game.
Yeah, especially, like, can't just make a very expensive harass unit that doesn't get a whole lot of harass done. It's a recipe for not winning the game.
Its damage is a bit mediocre until it has Yamato, compared to other harass units at least.
Alright, so any closing thoughts on that game you want to offer for our audience?
Make workers learn to scout. Good luck.
Alright, well, that's going to be it for this episode. Thank you for watching. Again, if you want to send in your replay, please read the video description. That's all for now. I'll see you in 2 days. My name's Hyper1, and yeah. And say goodbye to Mose, I guess. Everyone say goodbye to
Have
Mose.
a nice day.
Mose say goodbye to everyone, and goodbye.
Have a nice day, everyone.